you're only speaking.
Okay. Everybody smile. Smile. And bow.
Okay, thanks for coming, everybody. Today we're going to be doing another speech. It is going to be an oral interpretation speech. I have to read a poem to you guys and then interpret it, summarize it, and tell you about how I feel about the poem. The poem I'm going to read is Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken. He wrote that in 1915. After that, I'm going to give you a summary. So, first the poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long as I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden back. Oh, yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Now, according to Linda Grimm's of Poetry Suite 101, she says that the poem is very tricky. The fourth stanza holds the key to the trickiness. After the summary, I'm going to explain why the poem is considered tricky and it's difficult to decipher. The speaker is in the woods and he's faced with a decision. The decision is to travel one path or the other. He says that both are equally worn and both are covered with leaves, but he tries to convince himself that one of them is less traveled and that's the one he's going to take. The first stanza is 4 lines and it discusses the situation again, the fork in the road and which one he's going to take, which path he's going to take. The second stanza examines the pathways as he's walking. Again, he says that each are equally worn and equally covered with leaves. And he chooses the one that he feels is less traveled, even though they are both equally traveled. The third stanza is another set of 4 lines. He is debating the differences between the two paths and what changes it may have made in his life if he took the opposite path. He says that he one day does plan to walk the other path, but he talks about how life is too short and when you make one decision, it leads to another, and he doubts he'll ever go back to walk that second path. The fourth stanza is a tricky stanza. When you're reading the poem, you would think that it's a positive poem in the sense that he's choosing which path he thinks would be better by walking the less worn path. Like as in making choices in life would be take the path less chosen by everybody else. But the first line of the sentence has the word he sighs. The sigh shows that it's not a sense of relief, it's more of a sense of doubt. And then the second tricky part is the last line in the fourth stanza. It talks about the difference. A difference can be positive, but it's not always positive. And the poem doesn't state anything about, in general, it being a positive situation. So, in conclusion, the poem is mostly about having to make choices in life and how one decision always leads to another. The first stanza explains the situation, it explains having to choose which path to take. The second and third explains the different possibilities that life can offer and that the path could have offered. And the fourth stanza explains to its readers that not all choices made in life are positive, that some will result in a negative conclusion. And all choices cannot always be good in the end. So thanks for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed my speech. And that's it.
Good. That was good. Where's your